Hey. Welcome everyone. How's it going? Welcome to week 1, opening week of Heroes Hype Tempo Storm series. I've been so excited to jump into this. I'll be your master of ceremonies for the evening. My name's Halor, and I'm joined by the memer and dreamer himself.
Wow.
That's you. That's you. That's you.
Of course. How's it going? It's good.
How you doing tonight, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Back on that Heroes hype train, you know. The train is finally leaving the station. Season with Tempo Storm has been announced, and it's good to be back here casting, and of course alongside you, buddy.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, man, it's been too long. On behalf of everyone behind the scenes who worked really hard to put this together, I think we're looking to make this one the best season of Heroes Hype yet. This has been a long-standing tradition in the Heroes of the Storm amateur scene. And we've seen a lot of rising stars. You see a lot of real, upcoming talent. These teams show up in open division. Now that the new HGC format's there, you'll see these teams like taking a run at the Crucible in future seasons. Like, where'd they come from? Like,
yeah,
they come from here.
This is grassroots NA Heroes at its finest. Back in the day when Heroes Hype was formed, they had like 60 cups across a year and a bit, and then they finally started getting these prizes in, and that just meant that even more amateur teams came in. It's been a staple in the scene for so long, and now Tempo Storm are back in it. We've got some amazing rewards for you guys if you want to donate as well on Matcherino. So it's going to be a great season. 6 weeks of competition culminating in that grand final bracket with some of the best teams outside of HGC. It's going to be a great series of play.
Yeah, it's amazing to have Tempo Storm a part of this. They've also been a long-standing tradition in the Heroes of the Storm scene. So it's amazing to see them jump in. Our prize pool has already jumped way ahead of what we ever imagined. It's only continuing to rise, and it's been thanks to Tempo Storm's participation. Like, there's still slots available. Coaching slots have already filled up. There's player sessions. I think there's a few still open for Rennie.
Yep.
I would definitely jump into that.
Yeah, I saw Karen in chat, so if you guys do want to go and play some Heroes of the Storm with Rennie, just be sure to go check out the Matcherino page. I believe $30 gets you an hour, and that $30 goes towards the prize pool. Already big shout-outs to people like Tetcha and Kalaris. I got to shout-out my boys from the UK, putting us up there as well. Tetcha with 75. I believe Kalaris donated $30 as well. Yeah. Representing the UK scene, supporting NA. Always a pleasure to see those guys doing that.
Yeah, some other names to shout out. Windabird donated a bunch of rubies. It's just been really cool to see, this kind of response from the community, already at week 1. So I definitely think we'll continue to see that trend. It's a great way to show thanks to these teams. They scrim really hard, week in and week out, and they come out here and show their stuff. So for the community to say, like, hey, like, thanks for doing this. I think that's really amazing.
For sure.
Without any further ado, though, I think we are ready to jump into the first match of the evening. I do believe we are.
We are in there. But
let's see. Getting invited into the game now.
Yep, we had 22 teams sign up tonight, which means we've got a 32-team bracket, meaning 5 rounds of play, I believe. And up first, we have Picante, who I didn't actually know was number 1 GM. It's amazing what you can do with Li Ming, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, Picante's team, he was at Dorm, really nice guy to hang around. We had a lot of memeing and dreaming together. He's put a team together, a load of free agents, Cripsy, Apex, Domo, Mist, and one more in there as well. So it's going to be good to see how his team perform.
It's really cool to be able to cast Picante because actually, I got to meet him at Heroes of the Dorm too, and he's like, hey man, like you casted my first chair league game, and I was like, oh wow, like that's all right. Like,
no,
it's cool to see stuff like that, So I know he's been working really hard, and like you said, he hit number 1 GM. Like that's a feat, man. So
sure.
I definitely think him. Mist is on that roster as well.
Yep.
So they definitely, and Dome of Arian, another staple that made waves in Heroes of the Dorm this past year. So
yeah, he did pretty well. Mist obviously made it to the finals last year, but didn't compete this year. Picante did play in Dorms as well. But on the other side, you've got Seventh Empire, who they're not so much big names, but they've been consistently appearing in these Heroes Hype tournaments. I believe they competed throughout all of last season. I'm pretty sure they made Final 8 as well for those grand finals, so props to them for their consistency and returning for the biggest and best season of Heroes Hype yet. Map is going to be Towers of Doom. Interesting
Yep.
map for a best of one, it has to be said. Kind of a weird one. Can be a bit of a coin toss. Not all teams do like playing on this map. But it seems that Picante and co did choose this from the 7 remaining maps. So obviously they have something coming up for this battleground. Hopefully we can see that in the draft.
I've come to really enjoy this map. When it first came out, I was a little lukewarm on it, but you get all the aspects of what I enjoy about Heroes of the Storm in this map. There's always going to be team fights. There's convergence over the altars. You got to consider the macro play as far as going to get the sapper camps. It's a map that almost always sees a late game progression. So late game comps can definitely get some work done. It just offers a lot of different approaches. You learn a lot about how the team plays.
Yeah, and not only late game actually is important here as well. The early game can really snowball you throughout the rest of the mid and late game. If you are able to have like an early game push style comp, maybe throw a Sylvanas in. It's not seen that often, but if you get to that like 4-5 pick where Sylvanas is like, hey, this is pretty good here, you can get control of that bottom side of the map and just dominate from there on out. Also, being able to pick up the sappers so early on as well is a great way to press the advantage early too. So you can really look for draft flexibility here, and you'll realize that a team has the potential and has the skill when they play around their power spikes, and this is a great map to show those power spikes effect.
Yeah, definitely think we're going to see some compositions that have that stuff in mind. I wouldn't be surprised. Now, Haas, that tweet you sent out right before we started out.
Yep.
If we see Ginger Dread and a Zebo.
Yep. $5 gets donated from my pocket.
Haas is going to donate $5. You know what? And I'm going to match it. I'm going to match it as well. So if we were going to see Ginger Dread and a Zebo, this could be an instance where he comes out to play. I got my warning.
Someone replied to my tweet as well. It was Dunkstick. Said that if anyone first picks it, he's going to double it. So that's $20 because, he's got to double mine and then yours on top. So, yeah, that's $20 right there straight away. Easy.
So it's all to freak me out because people know how I feel. But here we go. Draft is on the way. Over on the left side, we're going to have players unknown. Over on the right, 7th Empire. 7th Empire enjoying the luxuries of first pick, first ban. Now, something to keep in mind here. This is a huge shakeup because Cassia is legal for tonight's tournament.
She is. I think we'll see a solid 0% play from her, though.
That much, huh?
Yeah. Oh, I was pushing boundaries with that one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't really seen too much of her, but she just doesn't feel too impactful. I like the hover of the Li Ming ban here.
Oh, a little bit more than the hover.
Straight respect for Picante coming out right from the gate.
Then you sent a tweet to him like, I looked at the form and
So, I mean, your casters from Dorm are doing like draft the best team and see who wins it. And I saw Picante's tweet and I was like, oh, I'll get in on this. And then when I went to fill out the form and it asked you for your role, I didn't see Li Ming one trick there. So I'm genuinely curious as to what Picante put down for that section. But I guess he wants to play regardless.
He didn't say so. Guess we'll see. But Zarya's going to get taken off the board. Not surprised to see that. This does open the door for 7th Empire to come away with Tassadar. A staple in any competitive setting from, Heroes of the Dorm finals down to quick match and unranked. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Tassadar show up here. But, there are heroes like Arthas to consider. Tassadar is going to get picked up. Like I was saying, Arthas is a beast these days. He might see some play here.
Yeah, so the way tanks are right now is actually in a really interesting spot because we're in this lull where ETC has been destroyed, but the next patch he's going to be coming back up to standard. So tanks right now, Arthur's got a little bit of a nerf too, so he's not optimum. We're seeing a lot more Muradin picks. Joe is being also picked here and there, so she can sneak in when you want to go for more like a passive style on the early game and just focus on the wave clear. So be interesting to see which tanks we do go for here. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Mura in the 1-2 here. Mouth Mura or Mouth Dahaka seems the most optimum pick. Yeah. Unless they're going to try and look to take away that Valor. But we all know a naked Valor is not the best.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to go down that road in a coordinated 5v5 voice comm setting. Like, Murden's definitely seen a rise in play since ETC got his nerf, and he's probably just sitting back like, I haven't gone anywhere, baby. Like, they haven't changed me at all. I'm still
Okay.
out here doing work, but we see Falstad for the global presence. I like that, and Arthas, always a good way to start your composition, picking him up.
Yeah, for sure. So they do go for the false start in the global instead of the Dahaka. You have a little bit more flexibility there, whereas if you go for the Dahaka, you're kind of almost baiting out a Tychus pick maybe, because the opponent then knows you have to go for this double tank. Arthas is kind of similar, but you can run it solo if needed. I'm surprised we didn't see the Malfurion come up early here.
Oh.
It is going to be picked up right away. Malfurion and Tassadar combined together is pretty huge. Greymane on top, he should be able to sustain extremely well throughout the fights. So now when we hit the ban phase, I'm not entirely sure what we'll probably see maybe a Muradin ban come out here for players unknown. On the flip side, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Lucio ban. The team of 7th Empire have themselves a good style comp already. They're going to be lacking on these tanks, whereas it's going to give the opportunity for players unknown to pick up more of a beefier front line, and that's exactly where Lucio excels. Once you hit 16 with Rejuvenacia, you get that % healing with a big front line. That is going to be great. So that's the expected ban from the right-hand side. Left side, there were a lot of options, but I expect it to be focused maybe towards tanks. We'll have to see.
I agree with all that. I mean, when you have Tassadar, Mouth, and Greymane, it's hard to go wrong with the rest of your comp. So if you're on the side of players unknown, it's like, what do we not feel like dealing with? Apparently that answer is going to be Dahaka. But if it's anything but a Lucio ban here, I would be surprised. When you take Falstad Arthas that early in the draft and you set yourself up for something like a Tassadar, Mouth, Greymane, like, the onus immediately goes on players unknown to get some kind of value out of those heroes. Because if they just kind of are placeholder and just do their job, that's a lot of synergy they gave up in the draft.
Yeah, for sure. And the Dahaka ban just is a great ban in itself. They've picked up one global, they'll ban the other, and that's what I was talking about, that you're attacking the opponent's front line here, limiting their tank options and their solo lane options. It's kind of a two birds, one stone. Falstad now, there are very few lanes which Falstad can't deal with that are left open. So it's going to come down to that 4-5 as to how they decide to take on that solo lane. Taking a while with this ban here, in fact. I still think Lucio is best, but they're just going to target Domo, it seems, and go for the Medivh. So straight up target bans, Li Ming on Picante, Medivh on the Domo, and this might come back to hurt them.
I mean, I like the idea behind it. They're definitely playing with their opponents in mind, trying to take away some of the strengths of players unknown. As far as one trick goes, you know, Dama Variant's team in Heroes of the Dorm was literally called Evil Medieval. And that's a hero that can be quite vexing on a map like Towers of Doom. So I'm not too surprised to see that. But I think we are going to see Lucio get picked up. And like you said, Haas, that could come back to bite him later on.
I think Lucio Mura is actually really strong here. You're limiting tank options. You then force the opponent into like a Joe or a ETC, which we both know neither are ideal. And Mura is a big beefy frontline, which can be played like a melee assassin. And then you're still setting up for like almost a mage pick in that 5 slot. So Muradin for me is a great pick here. If you play it how Draded plays it and just goes in and doesn't care, it can work quite effectively. And it pressures the Tassadar out quite a bit as well, and the Malfurion.
Oh! Now, see, I really liked where you were going, because I was thinking Lucio Muradin would be really good. And if they were thinking Cassia, I'm sure they could have saved that for the last slot.
Yeah.
Greymane already getting picked up. So that might be something of a misstep as far as draft prioritization goes. But that does pave the way for Muradin to get picked up for 7th Empire. Interesting.
It does give them these tank. And Muradin, I feel, would kind of do quite well into Cassia with the attack speed slow and the stuns. If she jumps in and gets stunned straight away, she's probably dead at that point. But the blinds do have merit into that Greymane.
They do, but another thing that I'm just thinking about now, Haas, Malfurion's on the other side, so that root is going to guarantee a lot of time for, you know,
For any
her
follow-up
armor
opponent.
to not kick in because she won't be able to move. And Lucio doesn't have a cleanse.
Yeah, exactly.
So
As soon as she does jump in with that gap closer, she will be susceptible to losing her armor from her trait. And that's kind of what I was expecting with a Jaina coming in. And that, again, just limits her options. Jaina ETC in a roam is very, very deadly.
Yep.
I do, however, assume we're now going to see a Greymane top. Could be a Tassadar, but it's likely to be the Greymane into the Falstad. So you do lose some pressure on that rotation and the synergy with the Tassadar. But nonetheless, I do like the Jaina play. Ring with Roots. Ooh, indeed. Ring with the Root plus Twilight is a devastating combo in itself. The Johanna pick shows that they want to try and pressure this early game by just going pure wave clear, and that they are potentially scared of the ETC Jaina.
Well, another aspect is that she brings a blind into her base kit, which definitely will help Cassia out. That'll add something of an exclamation point to all the damage she doles out. But I agree with you, Us. I feel like Muradin would have been the way to go there. But I mean, it is a reliable interrupt to Mosh Pit. That is a sound response to ETC. So there's value to be had either way. But interesting draft.
Yeah, so before they picked that Joe, they only had one interrupt for the Mosh, and that was Falstad Gust. But now they have the Condemn and the Blessed Shields. They do have more options, but it may not be enough. Lucio can't actually boop the ETC out of Mosh unless you go for the questing talent. But even then, it's insanely hard to do so. You have to try and predict the slide coming in, and then press Q at exactly the time that he starts it. Otherwise, you're going to get caught. I do like the icon synergy though. The Brightwing. It's extremely okay hand.
So they'll load into the map at level 3 automatically based off of their just off of the Portrait synergy alone. But who do you think comes away with the stronger composition in this situation, House?
It's kind of an interesting one. I think both teams do have their merits to their compositions. I haven't seen much Cassia play come in, so I'm kind of skeptical / intrigued as to how this is going to play out for players unknown. Picante will be in this top lane. Mist on the tank is kind of interesting with Domo on the Arthas. Yeah, but I mean, Cripsy does like his weird picks. He's a Valera one trick in Hero League, among other things. So I assume his Cassia is going to be up to standard as well. But I'll go ahead and introduce the team on the left. It is the players unknown, just a load of no-names and one-tricks. Mist on the Johanna, Picante playing the Falstad, Apex on the Lucio, Cripsy on the Cassia, and Domo Varian / Medivh only on the Arthas.
Over on the right, we got the members of 7th Empire. Jane is being played by Dreadnought, Bamboozles on Malfurion, Phantom Puppy's playing ETC, Edward Torres is on Tassadar, and Greymane is going to round it out, getting played by Grommen. I'm gonna go with Grommen.
Yep, something like that. Grommen.
Solid.
So we're just going to have like the classic meet in mid. No one really cares about each other. There's no real hard CC from either team. It all kind of relies on either an Arthas route or the ETC slide. There's the route. It stops one rotation along with the Apex Q. So they're going to be a little bit slow, but they actually missed less than their opponent there.
Yeah, it's something that you really see in coordinated play, the interrupt on the rotation. The power slide, Phantom Puppy at half health, going to start backing away. Greymane rounds the bend, but oh no! ETC is going to get jumped on. Less than a minute in the game, first blood is drawn.
And now we're going to have a route from Domo coming out as well. Apex has already used his Q. He is going to try and put on that speed boots. Got his running shoes on. Still got Greymane back, and that is a 2 for 0 already. And can someone say ETC health nerfs?
Yeah, I mean, once he power slides in, he feels for free at that point. And evidence exhibit A. But he is back to business. And Apex got a ton of value out of Lucio. We were talking about in the second round of bans, the Medivh ban instead of Lucio. Already seeing some of that effect.
Yeah, for sure. And something that we're going to need to look out for here is because it was mistimed, in fact, when the ETC slid in initially, the slide root combo was on point, but because Jaina had used the Blizzard to clear the wave, there wasn't any damage follow-up or lockdown after the fact. So have to refine that moving forward into this game. We already see priority going onto these camps. Nice play from both teams, being heads up about this. They have about 20 seconds to finish this off. Players unknown have the advantage. They've capped it already. And let's see if they're able to escort this in for the damage, or whether they'll just trade.
This could be a situation that goes advantage players unknown by virtue of having Falstad in their composition. His ability to fly from one part of the map to another after securing altar could have a huge impact. Both teams are level 4. Phantom Puppy walks in the mist in the crew. Domo Varian on the flank. It's going to be one altar apiece in the top and top left and right corner, so we're about to see an all-out brawl here, and here's Picante.
Yeah, the aggressive positioning from Domo did actually allow Falstad to fly in aggressively as well, but Cripsy on the back is getting pressured out very low, and this is kind of a fight on two fronts right now.
Yeah, and this is really tough for his support, but Cripsy is low enough, trying to get the heck out of dodge. The boop, Apex saves their teammate, and actually, Greymane is going to be the first to fall. Damavarian falls back with Picante, starts channeling, no mana. Can they zone out well enough? Phantom Puppy steps forward, says not so much. But Falstad is able to get out of there. Greymane should be back. This could turn into a pretty long progression.
Yeah, the problem here is that Jaina is reliant on these innovates. They have to step back and clear this camp for the time being. Phantom Puppy going a little bit too aggro for my liking here as Tass is getting the interrupts and bopping in and out. They do get the slide onto Mist, but no real follow-up. Edward Torres is going to fall on that Tass star. No mana for the dimensional shift, and they're going to have to give this one up as well. Plus, there's a big wave of soak for players unknown in the mid wave. Falstad will fly top. Big wave to pressure up there as well. So they should get some solid XP plus damage on the board.
Yeah, not too bad a start for members of Players Unknown. Taking a look at talents, we got Seasoned Marksman and Hammer Games. Arthas is full World of Warcraft of quests, 1 and 4. See the quest as well. Chase the base for the increased sound wave arc, which could have implications on Mosh Pit, Walls of Hope, standard stuff there. Region quest talent for Cassia, bringing up Leech, Q build, machine gun setup, Jaina. Pretty standard stuff all around, I'd say.
Yeah, for sure. And now we've hit the level 7 mark as well for Players Unknown. Arthas is going to go for that Icebound Fortitude. He was a little bit pressured, so now he does have that talent to fall back on as well, should he end up getting slid, rooted, or just slowed by the Jaina. And it is actually a struggle playing Arthas into the Jaina. It is one of those soft counters that we do like to see as a reaction pick, but you really do look for this 7th Empire team to spike at 10. They're 1 through 7, or their 1 through 10 is kind of slow. They are relying on that ETC slide, but it's their 10 where they do really start to power spike.
I 100% agree with you. They need Ring of Frost, they need Mosh Pit, they need to try to lock down Cassia and really punish that pick. Jaina's full ability damage, so armor or not is not really going to help her out. I think if Cassia drops earlier on in the team fight, later, like going further into this game, definitely could swing in favor of 7th Empire from there.
Yeah, I completely agree, because Cassia is their main source of damage. Falstad is great, but you really start to ramp up later on. Whereas now, you're getting those Seasoned Marksman stacks, you're kind of doing your thing, but when 13 comes and you start to get Giant Killer, that's when you start putting a bit more damage out and pressure in the ETC more. If Greymane or Jaina is able to catch onto Cassia and blow them up early, then the fight can definitely go in the way of 7th Empire.
Both of these teams looking to be willing to trade at least. Falstad does annoy the members of 7th Empire for the moment. Cripsy is able to secure the bottom altar. Doesn't look like anyone's going to step forward. In a lot of ways, there's advantages to be had for either team here. You know, you get closer to 0, so, you know, Players Unknown like that. But, like we were talking about, Heroic's going to be super important for 7th Empire, so the more they can passively get to level 10 without getting jumped on and losing heroes and stuff like that, they're a fan of that setup.
Yeah, completely agree. I think that the trade of Altar for Altar does go in the favor of 7th Empire. They were very proactive in getting back to this top lane as well to match Picante Soak, so they didn't lose too much out there. There is going to be a slide on the Falstad. ETC just having a little battle, like, hey, I'm still a relevant hero, come here. Meanwhile, this bot lane, they're just going to be wave clearing, looking for this mid to bot rotate. Although they may look to pressure on in and maybe look for a camp. We have Mist going for it already. Nice heads up move. But this collapse coming in, they will be fighting into Heroics, but this is actually one of their fights to take.
Oh, Phantom Puppy Dreadnought find themselves 2v4. Apex is going to try to chase down ETC. He is able to get around a corner. The Root is going to secure the disengage there. That could have been a brow-raising moment for 7th Empire for sure. But with that Sapper camp, we might be looking at the first keep in jeopardy.
Yeah, so the Sapper camp in itself won't take it down, so there does need to be some form of follow-up. Domo can certainly apply that pressure. They are going to slow and root this camp, but they're going to go in. The damage a little too spread. Down to about a 3rd HP as Phantom Puppy does have these 10s now. They are trying to dive this as well. Nice slide into the mosh. There is no interrupt. Flash shield used and it missed. Twilight on top.
And we see 7th Empire displaying the merits of their composition the moment the Heroics picked up. The Power Slide is going to secure the 3rd takedown on Arthas, and the bottom keep holds for the moment. In a lot of ways, they might have actually been better served letting that one go so they can bring it back up. But the next altar will be here, and like we were talking about, Haas, once these Heroics come online for the members of 7th Empire, it's going to feel like a whole different game.
Yeah, I completely agree. And we saw it right there. Missed a little bit too trigger happy with that Blessed Shield. Hit a 2-man, but it didn't bounce to the 3rd, which would have been the ETC because the range just wasn't there. Really nice heads-up play coming in from 7th Empire. They hit that level 10. They got their correct heroics, pressed R, and won the fight because of it. They should be able to get this altar. Domo is going to disagree with them for now, though, but Archon being popped.
Edward Torres low on health, has to use a dimensional shift. That'll be down for 30 seconds. If he gets jumped on, it's probably going to be it. We see Johanna trying to chase them down. Phantom Puppy and Bamboozle are able to get out of there as well. Picante moving up, trying to force back Jaina. Damavarian's going to start channeling the altar. And I think without their heroics, you know, it was really interesting. Level 10 gets picked up, Power Slide, Ring of Frost, you know, Flash. Very exciting to watch. But as far as the tempo and pacing of it, that means they didn't have those heroics for the all-important altar fight, and that ended up being an advantage for Players Unknown.
Yeah, there was about a 10-second window before Ring was up. About 20 seconds after that was Twilight Dream. So they are a very press R-orientated comp, whereas Players Unknown can fight without some of their heroics up. They can do it. Arthas doesn't so much need army. Blessed Shield is okay. I think the only real one is Ball Lightning and Sound Barrier as Jaina gets picked off there by Picante and Apex. That's going to be a big, big loss because this now means bottom keep goes down too.
Jaina panic drops the Ring of Frost, maybe shopping for a new pair of pants the way she got jumped on. Probably a little bit surprised. Well, level 13 is going to get picked up for Players Unknown with 2 sappers left. They're looking to try to take this core from 24 to 22. And with this tier advantage, they could look to do exactly that.
Yeah, they certainly can. So we are going to see the root just to slow it down. ETC trying to tank up what he can. Blessed Shield comes out there trying to put damage on. He will slide away. But the will only be... No, not even get any shots there. Blizzard coming in at the right time.
Nicely done by 7th Empire. They hold, keep their core at 24 points. They could look to move in once level 13 is picked up to try to take back this bottom keep. Another thing to consider, level 13, let's look at the talent there. It was the reduced armor. And that's going to have huge implications. If Arthas is able to get that on a squishier hero like Jaina. Oh, the mosh pit completely whiffs. And then the root follow-up. We see the cleanse. Are they going to be able to get out of there? Dreadnought low on health, able to step back. Twilight Dream secures the disengage, but here they go. They try to turn around. Damavarian on the ropes. That was a huge opportunity that went out the window for 7th Empire.
So I tried pressing E, says Phantom Puppy. And E is pretty close to R. That is just unlucky. Let's hope for their sake that they can just get a trade-off here, and that's the best scenario. They got the 3 for 5.
Yeah.
Luckily, with Mosh down, Players Unknown weren't able to contest. One thing I am questioning is that I am just noticing it. We do have the go for the throat over the Cursed Bullet. Going into this double tank situation, I do think that you are looking to pressure the Arthas out a bit, and Cursed Bullet is the great opportunity for that, as it looks like we may see a bit of an engage down bot.
Phantom Puppy gets boot, Power Slide afterwards into the Condemn. Blessed Shield goes out. Phantom Puppy, the topic and target of conversation. He is able to get back behind that line of scrimmage, though. Damavarian at half health. The Condemn draws Dreadnought for it. Double root goes down. And it looks like they're just kind of poking around at each other with no sappers on the line. Uh-oh, Picante gets caught out. Gets the Side Storm for his trouble, and the follow-up damage is there. Falstad gets roasted.
Yeah, nice map awareness there coming in as they're trying to now go back onto Gronmin. He does still have go for, but he will get rooted up. Booped on out of there. That is the 1 for 1. However, the bot lane, taking back that keep is certainly a good deal. Bamboozled is actually going to get booped a bit. Thought something else could have come from that, but I'm a little bit too high. Fighting under that keep would have been a little bit risky. Immediately picking up the Sapper camps, though, but with this being even, 15 to 15, I think the Tassadar comps 20 is a little bit scarier once you get either Bolt, Turbus, or Death Metal. Unlimited Archon is disgusting. Bolt Dream can start making plays. Jaina gets that ice block, so if this game does go to that level 20 mark, do you feel like Seventh Empire is slightly favored.
I absolutely agree with you. I mean, both of these comps definitely have setups that require skill. So if these teams are able to execute at that level, they could definitely win them today. Like a well-timed mosh pit in a Ring of Frost, like that could be the end of any team fight. The next set of triple altars will tell us a lot about how the rest of this game is going to go. Both teams are level 16 now. Damaverian waiting at the bottom in the bush, walks up, finds Phantom Puppy. The root does miss. The cleanse goes out. Dreadnought drops the Ring of Frost. Not too much value to power slide in. It's not going to be enough to save Jaina, though. But everyone else dances. Cassie is going to go down. A 1-for-1 trade so far. Bumboozle was able to step back. Phantom Puppy gets booped back. 2-for-1 so far.
Meanwhile, the top lane, Edward Torres actually went for the aggro play so that he knew... This was actually really smart. He went and invaded Picante's altar, so he knew that he couldn't then fly down for the fight. Because if Falstad goes down, that's basically a guaranteed Mosh interrupt. The Mosh is actually what got them that almost even trade down bot. It's what brought them back into that fight. And they still get the trade up top somehow. Every cloud has a silver lining, I think is the best way to sum that up. They lose the fight down bot. Nice play from the Tassadar to stop Falstad pressuring down. And they get the trade up top while still losing bot. It's okay. They are getting closer to 20. But their margin for error is becoming more and more thin.
You are absolutely right. At some point, they're not going to be able to continue to trade out and try to play for the later portions of this game. They only have 11 points left on their core. And level 20 is not exactly around the corner, so I think they need to try to make something happen sooner rather than later. Jaina did pick up the vulnerability town at level 16. I think that's going to be very instrumental to their success. But 7th Empire finds themselves again trying to defend this bottom keep.
1, 2, 3. It will live for now. The problem, however, with 7th Empire trying to just rip a play is they have to wait another 30 seconds. Because of that Mosh Pit cooldown, it is huge. You see Phantom Puppy looking in. They get the root onto Jaina, but for now they are just looking in. They can't pressure up too much. Meanwhile, Falstad is just going to go push mid here as well. Get that down quite a bit. Already at half HP. Picante is actually fully stacked on Seasoned Marksman as well. So he's starting to do a lot of damage to these structures.
Phantom Puppy slides in, isolates Mist for the moment. Plenty of support in the form of Lucio to help get him out of there. The boot is going to knock Phantom Puppy back. Nice little bit of face melt action there, looking to continue to apply pressure. The Mosh Pit goes in, but no Ring of Frost just yet, and it drops in. Twilight Dream afterwards. Johanna gets blown up. Damaverian's going to be the next to try to get taken down as well by 7th Empire. With a single altar and the numbers advantage, 7th Empire starting to turn this around.
Yep, Falstad is here though now. Mist slide on the bird. Domo finally actually picks up Army. He uses it but gets destroyed straight away. Merits for go for the throat there. He still wants more, does Gronman, but he won't be able to find it just yet. Dreadnought taking a load of damage. Will survive for now with the regrowth going through. Gronman still wants more on Picante. Uses the go for, gets blinded just as he jumps in. Can't find the finishing blow this time. And now players are going to tap and look for the re-engage. 5 versus 3. This has to go in 7th Empire's favor.
It has to. I mean, with a 2-person advantage, there is a good amount of poke and sustain on the board yet for the members of Players Unknown. But at the end of the day, they are going to be able to zone out. 7th Empire come away with that. And I like that decision a lot by Players Unknown. Just let that altar go. It's 22-11 if we drop that. We have 3 keeps. It's like there's no point in dying and staggering out deaths and giving them momentum. So I like that choice from them a lot.
Yeah, and I actually like that play as well. They were like, hey, Falstad's mid. Falstad's going to tunnel vision on that altar. We can take that back at any time. If we just pressure up here, as soon as Mist used his Iron Skin as well, that Mosh was telegraphed so much. A little bit of overlap on the ring and the Twilight there, but that's fine. They ended up winning the fight. And they not only get the altar, they get back mid Bell Tower, and they get their Sapper Camp for the first time in like 4 rotations now. So pretty big victory for them.
Yeah, what that felt like to me was, you know, we just got to establish some kind of momentum and develop confidence in our composition. You know, maybe we could have min-maxed this a little more. Maybe we could have spaced things out differently. But we just need to take this team fight in this moment. So they bet the farm. They come away with the altar for it. The level 20 is around the corner for Players Unknown. So 7th Empire, again, could find themselves in a very defensive position.
Yeah, they kind of want to engage down bot right now because Falstad is doing what Falstad does best with Seasoned Marksman. And Lightning Rod just taking down these structures does a lot of single target damage, but they're not able to look in for that fight bot because they need the 20s. And right now, we're just going to see the trade. Players Unknown like, hey, if you're going to rotate top and not kill our Falstad, we'll just get bottom bell tower. And this actually worked out favorably for 7th Empire. Because they picked up bot instead, if they lost top tower here with this exact spawn, they were in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I mean, one way or the other, there's definitely potential for this to snowball out of control. Level 20 is now picked up for the members of 7th Empire. You see the Archon. Edward Tor is looking to do a lot of damage. Bamboozle's able to secure the top right altar. Falstad on the other side, however, able to secure the top left. 19-6, like we were talking about, Huss. 7th Empire cannot continue to play this game of continuing to trade out. They got to make something happen soon.
Yep. They're looking to pressure in, and Edward Torres on that Archon is finding as many things to auto-attack as he possibly can, because as soon as this goes on cooldown, you then have essentially a 100-second window where you can't do anything, because Archon is so destructive, especially in these team fights. Not a big fan of Static Shield, Sonic Waving that minion wave, because now he has nothing else to auto, and goodbye Archon.
Well, the Tassadar Archon, you know, got a recent rework not too long ago, and it's a huge impact in team fights, and it makes something of a really curious position, because it's like, do we focus our damage on Tassadar? Because he's really putting the screws to us right now. But if they do that, Jaina and Greymane are going to have a field day, so having that added threat is going to be huge for 7th Empire. Damaverian has no escape for the moment, finds himself a long way from home, armor reduced and then buffed. But look at this, the Ring of Frost drops in. The upgraded Mighty Gust displacing the members of 7th Empire. The Mighty Gust, the Mosh Pit, is not going to secure takedown. 2 members on the side of 7th Empire go down. Apex is able to skate out as well. That was the farm they bet on, and it didn't pay out for them at all.
Really nice pickup of the wind tunnel for Picante. They know that they're short of Mosh interrupts, so he goes for this one, and you saw there, the position of the wind tunnel, ETC had no chance. By the time he finally found a position to Mosh Pit, he was on like 10% health and he got interrupted by a Condemn anyway. Really nice Storm talent coming in for Picante. They played that fight really nicely. They knew Archon was down, which was a big threat.
Yep.
And then 7th Empire had their backs against the wall. They had to look for something, and they looked in the wrong place. They should have looked down the back of the sofa instead.
They continued to look further down the road in this game to try to make something happen, but when it came down to that last critical moment, Conte had an R key. Like, he just flew in that upgraded Mighty Gust. It's not something you often expect, but we saw the value out of it. It was really well placed, and it won them that game right there, for sure.
Yeah, you can probably argue that that Wind Tunnel is probably the 3rd choice Storm talent when you go that Falstad build. But it's probably picked like 5% of the time, and that is that 5% of the time where you need to rely on it. Really nice pickup from Kante, #1 GM for a reason.
Yeah, that was his heads-up play making and positioning on his part. I think what we saw there, both teams definitely showed moments where they could get the upper hand and they showed dominance, but it was just a matter of, you know, Players Unknown, they were going for hooks and jabs. Like, they were just going for a steady, consistent team fight. Whereas 7th Empire, they were going for home runs and uppercuts and haymakers. Like, they had to make something happen off of a Mosh Pit Ring of Frost and then look to consider the map afterwards. And the times that didn't win them the team fight in the first few seconds, they lost.
Yeah, they had to play around their heroics, and that Mosh Pit is such a long cooldown. Most of the time, you're not using it to engage either, so you are always waiting on that Mosh Pit for that team fight change. But it's so rough, and the ETC changes certainly didn't help. We saw him get picked off early game. The health change late game probably affected it somewhat as well. But Players Unknown coming out on top. Really nice, smart play of knowing when to take these calculated fights. So hats off to them for that, and they'll advance to the next round.
Yeah, Picante played really well. I would also commend Apex on Lucio. We were talking about the potential power of Lucio in that draft, like during the draft. And then we saw it time and time again. A well-placed boot displaces someone just long enough to get the takedown. Someone's at a scrap of health, level 16 gets picked up, that percentage-based healing with a double warrior comp. It was going to make it really difficult for 7th Empire to do anything about that. So, nicely done.
I don't actually recall seeing that many, like, strong break-it-downs, sound barriers. I feel like there was never really a chance for it to be used effectively. And I think just Apex being able to play around Amp It Up more consistently shows that he is a great Lucio player, and they are able to know when to back out when Amp It Up is on cooldown and look to re-engage with both speed and heal coming in. So nice play all round with that Lucio into the full frontal comp that Seventh Empire bought.
I mean, they never really needed it. There was one time where Sound Barrier came out a hair late, and I forget exactly who it was, but someone died right as that was coming out. But other than that, I mean, they never really felt pressured enough to where they needed that.
I mean,
but we do.
Yeah, go for it.
We do see the members of Players Unknown advance further into the week 1 of the Heroes Hype Tempo Storm series. While we're getting the next game ready, we'll continue to follow them. It's going to be Players Unknown up against Accident Free Sense.
Ooh, big game.
Yeah,
that is from a gear game, man.
Watch. While we get that one set up, though, the Heroes Hype channel has some really cool emotes that are set up now in a lull, which I know you appreciate, Hoss. And you know, we're all hyped to be here. There's a hype emote as well, so consider subscribing because if I'm not mistaken, the subscription proceeds go towards events that Heroes Hype put on. The party at Heroes of the Dorm was a lot of fun. Got to hang out.
Yeah, it was.
With a ton of people. Got to see this guy. Got to see this guy over here. It was cool.
It was cool. But yeah, if you sub today, the money that would normally go into Heroes Hype's pocket now goes into the BlizzCon party fund. So if you're heading to BlizzCon, every year Heroes Hype do a meetup. In fact, they do it at almost every Heroes event. We had one at Dorm at the Hofbrau House, which was great. We had one in Seattle at PAX as well, which was also awesome. Those are the only 2 events I've been to because I'm a washed-up player now. But they're always awesome. You meet everyone who you're chatting with in Twitch chat right now. It's always a lot of fun. Just hang out and chill, and the next one's going to be at BlizzCon, so you know it's going to be a blast. So if you want to donate towards that fund, get some cool emotes that you can spam elsewhere as well. Everyone loves an NA lol, so yeah, be sure to subscribe and support us, support the teams, support the stream. Good.
I mean, this is a great effort by the admins of the organization for Heroes Hype, and now we're partnered with Tempo Storm, so that's really neat. But we are going to get the next game lined up. I think we'll take a short break, put some of that chill hop everyone's a fan of while we get everything squared away. But again, my name is Lauren, joined by Haas. We're out here memeing and dreaming week 1 Heroes Hype Tempo Storm season or series. Don't go anywhere.